In 1997, we saw the introduction of the C5 Corvette, but what was special was not the car, but what was under the hood of this beautiful machine. Under the hood was the third generation of small block Chevy, aka the 5.7 liter LS1. This thing laid forth the foundation for all of the Vortec engines and all of the other LS engines to come. This is the father of all of them. In the early 2000s, a stage 3 or 4 cam, ported intake manifold, bigger valves, ported heads, long tube headers, and your C5 or your F bodies, man, listen, you were making close to 500 horsepower to the crank. Oh, and trust me, these LSs were beating these shit out of these 2-valve Mustangs and all these other vehicles in the early 2000s. But when 2003 got here, Ford said enough is enough, and the 2-valve Mustang went and got his older brother that likes to fight everybody and just got out the army. The Terminator Cobra got here in 2003, and it changed the course of history. This is the greatest Cobra of all time. Do y'all not understand what I'm talking about? This thing made 390 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. All the Ford guys got their get back with the Terminator Cobra. Why? Because the engine that SVT threw in this thing had forged internals, fully forged internals, 4 valves per cylinder and a supercharger. And if you just so happen to replace that supercharger with a Kenny Bell like a 2.3 or 2.6 liter supercharger, you're looking at anywhere from 700 to 800 horsepower. Just that easily. All you needed was more fueling and a tune. And they were whooping LS asses for 2 years straight, all the way until they ended production in 2004. They only made these things for 2 years. So think about this for a second, right? The 4 valves used to be like the highest trim. That was like top performance by Ford, right? But now it's standard in all of Ford's vehicles. And it's all because of the Terminator Cobra. See, the formula that these Ford guys use is the same as with the Terminator Cobra. You find a supercharger, you throw it on your Coyote, you give it more fueling, and bam, you got 750 horsepower on tap.